You are not going to believe the new information leaking out about this Chinese spy balloon. For the last 24 hours, the world has been transfixed with this. This is a spy balloon allegedly sent from China. It's over the center of the United States of America. But nobody seems to have any idea what's actually going on. People think this thing is just floating in the breeze and that there's nothing in it. What I'm going to share with you here is going to totally change how you're thinking about this story and what you think about this Chinese space balloon. So, first, where is this coming from? Well, it came down from Canada, and even further than that, I'll show you in a moment, through Montana, and it's been spotted throughout the center of the United States of America, and it's moving easternly right now. And we have to go to this because I think this is very important. This is Air Force Brigadier General Pat Ryder, and he faced a lot of questions today at his press conference about this Chinese spy balloon. Watch how he handles those questions.
Sure. Thanks, Tara. So, first of all, we are aware of the PRC's statement. However, the fact is, we know that it's a surveillance balloon, and I'm not going to be able to be more specific than that. We do know that the balloon has violated U.S. airspace and international law, which is unacceptable. And so we've conveyed this directly to the PRC at multiple levels. And in terms of specific locations, I'm not going to be able to go into specific locations again, other than to say it's moving eastward at this time.
All right, there is a real level of hesitancy on saying where the position of this balloon is, which is kind of silly since everybody could just see it in the air. But there was a lot more important stuff to get to when this press conference rolled on. Listen to this.
Jennifer.
General Ryder, who is controlling this balloon right now?
Again, we know that this is a Chinese balloon, but beyond that, I'm not going to have specifics.
But is
All
it,
right.
you say that it's moving eastward and it's over the continental U.S., it's not over Montana anymore. Is the Chinese government controlling the movement of the balloon, or is it just floating with airstreams?
Thanks, Jennifer. So I'm not going to go into any specific intelligence that we may have. Again, we know this is a Chinese balloon and that it has the ability to maneuver, but I'll just leave it at that.
All right, it has the ability to maneuver. This is not just a balloon that's lost and just blowing in the breeze. It has the ability to maneuver, and they won't say it, but they believe that the U.S. government thinks that the Chinese government has control over this thing, as if it's driving it around in the air. Listen to this.
Thank you. Qasim?
General, you said the balloon is maneuverable. So does that mean that it's not drifting?
So the balloon is maneuverable. Clearly, it's violated U.S. airspace, and again, we've communicated that fact to the PRC.
If possible, can you tell us if the balloon, when it entered the U.S. airspace, has it changed its course in any way?
The balloon has changed its course, which is again why we're monitoring it, but that's about as specific as I can get.
Okay, the balloon has changed its course. Somebody is actively controlling this balloon as it heads across the United States of America. Again, it's not just blowing in the breeze. One more clip from this press conference that I thought was interesting here.
Thank you, Pat. You said that this is violating our airspace, so why not take it down?
Yeah, so clearly as we assess options and considering the size of the payload on this, looking at the potential for debris and the impact on civilians on the ground or property damage, again, running through the various factors and looking at in terms of does it pose a potential risk to people while in the air. And right now, as I mentioned, we assess that it does not pose a risk to people on the ground as it currently is traversing the continental United States.
So they're still working on whether they're going to shoot it down. But did you catch what he said? He said payload, a substantial payload. What is in this thing? This is how these balloons work, these surveillance balloons. They're about the size of 3 buses. They're huge, 120 feet. They are way up in the air and filled with helium and powered by solar panels. They have surveillance equipment, including cameras, sensors, and radars, and they're up generally at about 60, 120,000 feet. They're way up in the air. This is the full route of the spy balloon so far. As you can see, it actually started in China, went past Japan, all the way through Alaska and then ended up here in the United States. It's now in the center of the United States. So this didn't just drift over from Canada. It's been here and it's been floating from China, actual Chinese mainland. Where is it headed now? This is where the Chinese spy balloon is headed now, through the center of the United States of America over the next couple of days and out into the ocean, maybe off the coast of Virginia. That's interesting because that's real close to where Washington, D.C. is. But there are other things to know. This thing may be coming down faster than people expected, or maybe they're controlling it to come down because there's some planes that are suggesting at like 43,000 feet that this balloon was very close to them, maybe a few thousand feet overhead. Meanwhile, as for what the balloon was doing, it was spotted floating over the US suspiciously near some of these nuclear missile silos. Where are they? Well, here's one of them in question right here. This is one of these missile silos that they think that this Chinese spy balloon was floating over. This missile silo, which is in the Midwest or in the central portion of the United States of America, is possibly one of the targets that they were going after. And you could see what's inside there. This giant missile is one of many of these things. It said it's one of 3 bases that house the country's arsenal of 400 Minuteman III missiles. The silos in Montana, where I'm talking about, are run by the 341st Missile Wing, whose mission is to provide lethal combat capability by delivering long-range precision nuclear strikes within a moment's notice. That's what they were flying over. What does the Chinese military say? Well, they say the airship is from China, and they say it's a civilian airship used for research, which is pretty damn unbelievable. This thing's the size of 3 buses. You think it's a Chinese civilian that let this thing go? I don't know if I buy that. Meanwhile, Canada might even have a second one of these, another spy balloon that is going over the United States of America right now. The really big question about this is the Chinese government actively controlling it right now? And it looks like that might be the case. And about this payload, what is it? And are they going to shoot it down? There's still a lot of questions. Let me know what you think. Facebook.com/The News Junkie, YouTube.com/The News Junkie. Hit subscribe. Thank you for watching as always. Look forward to your thoughts.